Welcome to Flip Lesson 102 for the 6th grade. Today we're looking at the idea of mass and weight, and as we look at these two ideas, we're taking one last big look at making sure we're understanding our relationships between our different ideas. So first of all, we start with the idea of mass. A mass, of course, is a scientific idea that talks about the amount of matter within an object, right? Or within a substance. And so scientifically, we like to measure these things in mass, and so we're going to use our metric system to do that, to find our milligrams, grams, and kilograms. Right? Now, milligrams, grams, and kilograms can also be considered a unit of weight, as it deals with the effect of gravity on that mass, which is what weight is all about. But let's get into the math side of this to understand what exactly is going on. What we want to look at is we want to start to understand our relationships between milligrams and grams to kilograms and milligrams to kilograms. That was a lot to say, a lot to take in when you hear all those grams. But what am I really trying to say? The question is, what is the relationship, right? If I had 1,000 milligrams, we would say that is equal to 1 gram. So we see a relationship there. Just like when I talk about the relationship between grams and kilograms, I could say that 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram. So this is our first major concept today, is understanding these relationships and being able to flip and flop them whichever way necessary, so that we're converting between milligrams, grams, and kilograms. And so understanding this first relationship is important. All right? So we can ask this very simple question, right? 2,000 grams is equal to how many kilograms? All right? So I first of all throw down my 2,000 grams. I think about my relationship. Right? We could call this a proportion. We could also call it a ratio to some degree of the relationship. Right? And just as we saw in the last slide, right, we know that 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. So if 1,000 equals 1, that means that 2,000 must equal 2 kilograms. And so being able to solve for that is our first major concept, using those relationships. Now, we can also talk about this idea, right? If I were to ask you to measure a car, you probably wouldn't spend a lot of time figuring out, well, how many milligrams or how many grams can be found in that, right? Because a car weighs a ton. And while that expression, weighs a ton, has a lot to deal with the idea of just measuring a large amount of weight, it's also a unit of weight that we can use. And so while we looked at the metric system, we can also look at the imperial system of a ton, a pound, and an ounce. And of course, if we wanted to measure a car, we would work with our ton idea. So we can throw down these very quick relationships. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. All right, so we see that relationship. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. All right, so we have that relationship. And of course, an ounce is an ounce, right? But if you look at these three ideas, suddenly we are met with the relationships that exist between them and these different ideas. And of course, these different ideas are going to be very helpful in solving different types of problems, whether it's measuring a car or a problem such as this, right? So if you have 7 pounds, 13 ounces, and you're going to add it together with 3 pounds, 8 ounces, what are you left with, right? So to solve this problem, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by measuring our ounces to ounces. So I'm going to throw my label down right away. 13 plus 8, of course, is 21 ounces. And pounds plus pound, I'll throw my symbol down right away, is going to give us 10. And while that math is absolutely correct, of course, the first thing we're going to notice is that this number is too large to stay, because we know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. And so since we see that 21 is more than 16, we actually have an additional pound there. So we're going to take our 21 ounces, we're going to subtract 16 ounces, and not really subtract, that's not really the right term, but we're going to subtract because we're going to take these 16 ounces and we're going to turn it into an extra pound here. All right? And so we're going to get a total of 11, I don't know what that is, 11 pounds. But then we're going to take our 21 pounds that we have, subtract the 21 ounces that we have, subtract the 1 pound that we just moved over here, and we're going to get a total of 5 ounces left over. And so our final answer, of course, is going to be 11 pounds, 5 ounces. So we have this idea. All right, here's a sample problem to get you on your way to think about how to work with our different units of mass and weight. That's lesson 102.